Our conversation is acids, bases, and conjugates. So the first thing we need to do is get our definitions in order. So an acid is a substance that denotes a proton, right? And a base is a substance that accepts a proton, right? And the proton would be like hydrogen, right? So a conjugate acid is the substance formed after a base gains a proton. And a conjugate base is a substance that is formed after an acid loses a proton. So let's just recap quickly. Acid denotes a proton. A base accepts a proton. A conjugate acid is formed after the base gains a proton, but a conjugate base is the substance that is formed after the acid loses a proton. Let's continue on with an example. So acid-base conjugate pairs. A reaction of acids and bases occurs in pairs. Right, so an acid plus a base is equal to a conjugate acid plus a conjugate base. An example here that we have is hydrochloric acid plus water, which is H2O, right, gives us chloric acid plus hydronium ion. So that's an example. I am going to show you the substance role on the next screen. So let's talk about the substance roles, right? Hydrochloric acid, right, is an acid and it denotes hydrogen. Then water, which is H2O, is a base and accepts hydrogen. Then chloric acid is a conjugate base and hydronium ion is a conjugate acid. So that is the role of the substances in the example that we just discussed. So we have the acid, the base, the conjugate base, and the conjugate acid. Remember that an acid denotes a proton, which in this case is hydrogen, and a base accepts a proton, and in this case it is water. So our conjugate base now is chloric acid, and our conjugate acid now is hydronium ion. Let's speak quickly on the strong versus weak acids and bases. So looking at strong versus weak acids and bases, a strong acid fully ionizes water and a strong base fully ionizes water. So a strong acid and a strong base fully ionizes water. But a weak acid and a weak base partially ionizes water. So that's the quickest way for me to explain strong versus weak acids and bases. Strong acid and base fully ionizes water. Weak acid and base partially ionizes water. Let's just look at the last one, which is the pH scale. So a quick look at the pH scale is a pH that is smaller than 7 is acidic. And then a pH that is equal to 7 is neutral, which would make sense. But a pH that is greater than 7 is basic. Right, so those are the three pHs on the scale. So less than 7, acidic, equal to 7, neutral, greater than 7 or more than 7 is basic. That is it for acids, bases, and conjugates. Good luck.